Yo, the Volvo. So we're gonna basically just progress through the rest of the manual now. Probably get it done in the next 2-3 videos, I'm hoping. We've got like the big detailed stuff out of the way, which I pretty much wanted to show within the video, like the seats, the dashboard, stuff like that. And the rest is all just, I'd say, pretty much piecing it all together. I've gone ahead and done a couple of bits off camera. Not because there's nothing I didn't want to show you. It's just due to the awkwardness, the fiddliness of how they go together. I haven't been able to like have the camera in position to show you exactly what I'm doing. But you haven't missed much. All I've done is constructed these little brackets here. It's just like a couple of bits of plastic that glue together, and then you screw them together, and they basically just make the cab mounts, which are these. But because I've had to have it upside down and on my lap and everything else, basically just to get like the nuts into the back of it, it was just very awkward to like get it on camera, so I had to scrap that and just do that bit in my own time. And then I've gone ahead and just popped the grill in, which just clicks in place afterwards. And I also glued the little lips in with the inner wheel arches, just so they're ready to go. I've also gone and just glued like your tachometer and stuff like that, and the little locker there. Now I did mention the locker boxes, locker doors were missing out of the kit, but that's not really the biggest issue in the world. I'll probably be able to print something here to go in there, so I'll do that at like a later date. But if I keep the roof where the roof can just come on and off at the minute, like don't bolt the fenders on the back so the roof's clamped in for now, and then I can always add them when and as, because I still want to put like accessories and things like that within the cab. We are actually on to installing these lockers to like the top part of where the window's gonna go. Now when I come to test fit these, that'll like go in the top there like so, and then this sits on top. That wasn't a very flush fit, so I've had to go ahead and just grind out ever so slightly here on these little edges and just file them back a bit, and then I've scored them up for glue. So now the is it that way around? Yeah, there we go. They're sitting there perfectly now. This is why it's a good thing to test fit everything before you build your model. Otherwise, if you don't test fit it and then you just go to glue everything together or build everything and it doesn't fit, it's just going to create a headache for yourself, and then your model's just going to end up getting smashed through the window. So it's always good to test fit stuff first. I learned that through experience in the past, and it like I say, it just becomes a headache and you end up getting real frustrated with things. So part 57 here, this roof section, there's a little image there that shows like some cutters to take. So I'm presuming when they've gone to build the kit, this hasn't gone in like as they thought it would have done. Now the reason I've figured this out is because these are on like little clips on the edges there, so you can get one side in and click that into the like window pillar, but then it would mean prizing the cab apart to fit that into that side. Now if you put too much pressure on this, remember this isn't like a solid cab. These are 4 walls that have been put together and then everything else constructed within it. So if I was to sprize that apart to make that fit, I'm probably going to end up ripping the cab walls off, and then it just may as well go in the bin because it's pretty much model ruined. Well, it isn't, but it's the headache of stripping everything all back down, the paint, everything else that it would have ruined, clearing the glue, etc. And it's just something that we don't want to go through. So I believe that in the manual would mean to snip those little clips off, then we can slide that in and just prise it open ever so slightly, just enough to squeeze it in, and then we can hold that in with a bit of glue. First things first, I'm going to need some cutters, and I am just going to snip the little lips off the end there. You see it goes in now, and then this side we only have to prise it open just a little bit, just to squeeze that in there, and now it goes in. But yeah, as I was saying, with the little tabs on, you would have had to stretch them wide apart, which, like I say, you're going to risk ripping the cab walls off. So now we've got that bit in there, I can now glue this part under here, get some clamps on it from the back or the front, and then that can just set there for a few minutes. So I am just going to run a bit of glue in these holes, just so I know that it is fixed securely within there and not going anywhere. So a little drop of cement, we'll just let that run between the cracks there. Same on the other side, and then once that's set, I will just add another little blob just for good measure. I'll take a little bit of Yoo-hoo and in that little hole there, and same on this side for this hole. So that's had a few minutes now, so now the cement's probably set and dried. Like I said, I was just going to drop another couple of drops within them cracks just to fill up anything and help bond that together. Now there looks to be quite a bit left to do, but there are some parts which I'd previously already built up, such as this. We'd already got the brackets on the fenders, the roof and the aero thing for the roof, we'd already got that in place. So there is really, like, the mirrors, wipers, attaching the wings to the rear, a couple of little aerials up there, and then it's putting the wheels on, mounting the cab to the chassis, and done. Technically there isn't that much left to do. So I've got some RC truck fuel, and this should be well set. Now to install this little lock section, like I say, I'll sort that at a later date. So this is going to want to glue underneath. Like so. They're just going to sit under them little L brackets, and then that's just going to glue underneath this. Like so, from within the cab. Super detailed truck, really is. Taking the yoo-hoo again. I've scored it down there and underneath there, so I know we're getting a good bite with that glue, rather than it being smooth on smooth and it come apart. Ooh. Just one up on there. Now the next phase after this is actually putting the window in, and we'll move on to 63A. Again, there's no locker doors to go in the back of this, but again, I should be able to just make something to stick into the back of there, so no issues. I can't be bothered waiting around to see if they do have parts. There's nothing listed in there like stock on their catalogue on the website, so I ain't particularly bothered at this moment in time. It's something and nothing. Now this, so that's going to glue up against that like So again, more glue. Like I say, this kit does require a hell of a lot of glue, but it's all good fun and games until it pisses you off. So more glue required. Probably going to roll with a Yoo-hoo again on this bit. It's a good strong solid glue. I mean, the cement is strong, but it's ideal for little parts, but when you've got big parts kind of hanging, you want something a bit stronger. I mean, they hung a real car from a ceiling, didn't they, the big 4x4 with Yoo-hoo, and it, how long did it last there? Nearly 24 hours before it fell off. So if it can hold a real car to your ceiling for so long, it ain't got a problem with a couple of little bits of moulded plastic. I'm just going to line that up. I will run cement down that part once it starts setting, just for a little added security, so to speak. So I've now been sat here for 6 or 7 minutes just holding this clamp together there. If I put it down, it kind of like falls over, and there isn't really anywhere sufficient to put a clamp onto it to hold it in place. So I'm probably going to have to hold this for a few more minutes, and then I can run some cement down it just for a bit of an added bond. We're getting there, we're getting there. In the meantime, while we're letting that go off, we've just got that resting in place. That's still setting, so I decided to print my daughter a little cat phone holder, and she can stand her phone in there. I will have a video coming on this Kokoni EC2 printer within the next couple of weeks. It's not actually released till the 20th, so if I put the video out now and you are interested in purchasing one and you go to buy one, it's not going to be available. So this video should be available from the 20th once the printer is available. So do check that out when it goes live. Once this actually goes into the roof cap, it does have to glue in there, and there is little grooves around, so it technically shouldn't come apart once it's in the roof, but I want it sturdy before it goes in the roof. So now going backwards in the manual, on to the windscreen. A couple of small little screws, a couple of little brackets in there, and the windscreen itself. So the windscreen, just give this a little wipe over with this cloth, just get any fingerprints that may be in there. I know it's all clean from the inside. Smashing. Right, now this is just going to drop in between the dashboard and the front of the cab there, kind of like so, somehow. This is where this kit gets a bit scary, having to put like little bits of pressure on it. It's so scary. There we go. And come on, one more. There we go. Nothing broke. Nothing broke. Awesome. So we need the two little screws. And if you look into the front of the cab there, and they're just going to mount the window in place there. And then these should just pop in front of those, just to hide the screws. One. These just seem pointless, in my personal opinion, as we had to snap that in there with quite a bit of force, so it's not like the window's just gonna pop out. I forgot to install this little piece on to the top of the locker there, but it does tuck just behind the window, so no harm done, fortunately. Please don't fog up my glass. And that's just gonna slot in there like so. These small little clips and these just push fit into there. There is nothing to say glue or anything on the manual, which makes a change. And the other one. There. So they kind of just clip into place then. So now we have the window in place. We can then move on to installing the bit we've just glued with the lockers to go within the roof cap itself. So I need to glue these sides there and there. And then we're going to have to carefully run some glue around this lip here. And then that's going to slot either inside or over that lip. Let's just double check. It's going to slot inside that lip, right. But it shouldn't matter if a bit of glue seeps out, because we then have that which will glue over there, and that'll hide any glue runs that come out. So if I kind of run this onto the top of it, but slightly to one side so it can run down it. Yeah, this is gonna pop this in here. So no glue has run out, fortunately. It's just going to be a case of dropping a little weight on there just to hold that in place. So we'll just leave that on there. So there is still a few little bits left to do within the roof. Like I say, there is the visor to go in the front here, and a couple of little lights and brackets that we need to put in. But the fiddly little bits we can get done in the next one. But then that should go on there like so. There we go. And then that will end up sitting like that. And then once the visor's on, you have a lot of this covered. Yeah, you can see the lockers through the back there. Kind of cool. Well, that is pretty much the cab done, guys. Apart from a few little bits like the wipers, the mirrors to do, and just the little bits to actually stick on the external part of the cab. Well, that's the interior and pretty much the cab done itself. I'm super chuffed with how it's turning out. It really is coming together wonderful. You didn't see that. So we've got quite another little portion of the truck built. Quite a few little bits and bats here and there done. We've got the lockers above the driver and the passenger put in. We've got the rear lockers above the bunk in the back of the roof put in. We've got the window in and the other little bits and bats that I did earlier. So yeah, I'll wrap that one up there. Then the video ain't drawing out too long working on all these little fiddly bits. And there is some little bits which I'll probably do just within my own time, because you probably don't need to see too much more gluing and sticking. But basically there is a lot of little brackets there that go on the back of the visor. So I'll probably just get them glued in my own time. I'll probably leave those, do those bits in the video, like the lights in the corner and then we shall move on. Again, we'll get the rear wings fitted, we'll get that installed to the back of the cab also, other little bits and bobs which I've previously made up, and we can get those mirrors on there, the wipers on there, do that in the next video. And then it's, like I say, the wheels, which are quite technical in themselves. If you take a look there, there is a lot of nuts and bolts to put those wheels together, and they are quite a nice rim and some beautiful design tyres. So we can have a good look at those, and then we can actually fit the cab onto the chassis, which is ready to go there with the exception of the wheels. And if I turn over again, pretty much complete, just a few little decals, the Susies, which we can also do in that video, and that is the end of the Verkerk Volvo build. So we'll have 2 more videos on that, guys. In the meantime, feel free to check out some other content that I've got on there, some older builds. Do like the video, subscribe, drop a comment down below, and I shall catch you all in the next one. Ciao for now, guys.